You know I'm one of a kind, or so I've been told.
My mom didn't cuss, smoke, drink,
No matter where we go,
let
I
us
know we're
watch
gonna
anything
make
but
it. No
PG-13
matter where we go, I know
and
we're
drug us
gonna
to church.
win. We face it all cause now we know that we can take it. We face it all cause we go bigger, we go
Everybody stop talking about mental deficiency because we do have an evolutionist in the room now.
I'm here to be educated. Change my evil thoughts.
This is paradise.
Everybody else going to join the room, or is it just me today? There you guys are.
I got to do them one at a time. Who'd I miss? Oh, Faithful. Okay. Yeah, I
Okay,
got to do
welcome
them one at a
everybody.
time.
Starting the show off, I have to admit to a very shameful act, which is that I completely forgot about this show, and I had a whole week to prepare, and I did nothing. So, it's really just an open mic. Anybody has a question, anybody has a comment about anything, go right ahead. I do want to gear the conversation towards more of that of God and of conversations of God and maybe evolution and how we all got here. But really, anything floats.
German,
So, Ryan, I know you had something.
I have a question.
Go ahead, gangster.
What do you think of people who believe that evolution is how God made us?
I'm sorry, maybe the audio quality is not that good. What did you say?
What do you think of people who said evolution is how God made us? What do you think?
Well, I think one of several things. One, I think they could be lying, that they know better and they're lying. Or two, I think they probably did not do enough research into the matter. Because evolution, when you look into it, becomes a very stupid belief. Yeah, just look up when monkeys surfed, or that time it rained for 2 million years, or you get all these problems that just don't make any sense. They like to pick on, the creation story, for example, because of the genetic bottleneck of Noah and his kids, and all dogs coming from two dogs. And they say, you expect us to believe that? But then they believe everything came from a rock.
Mm-hmm. They believe that nothing created everything.
Yeah.
And
so it kind of goes down to what Ken Hovind says, which is they're either lying or stupid. I wouldn't quite say stupid. I believe that there are lots of smart people who've been bought into a stupid belief, but it's definitely down that route.
I would use the word deceived.
There you
go. Yeah, no matter how, the smartest person on the planet is not as smart as the father of lies. And he can get them to believe a lie, just like he got me to believe lies in my past. He can get anybody just about. Okay, Faithful. Now, I just wanted to share something. Yesterday, I was taking a restroom break at the Kroger near my route, and I wouldn't normally notice Beanie Babies, but they had a little Beanie Babies display. And I noticed that one of the little dogs, I had a little brown dog that kind of reminded me of Lucky a little bit, and she may be in here later. And I said, "Oh, that's cute. Maybe I'll have a little dog, little Beanie Baby of Lucky." And hey, Peter, welcome. And so I got to looking at it. It says its name is Mitch. They always have these little tags. And I don't know if you can see that, but it says his birthday is October 1st. And I said, "You've got to be kidding me."
Peter, is your mic on? I'm getting a lot of background noise.
And I plan on going to church with you guys. The next morning is John Mark Sowell's birthday, October 1st.
No.
Ryan?
So I said, by the way, seems to be having a little bit of an internet issue, so I may be cutting in and out. Hey, Peter. Yeah, I noticed earlier. It may happen again. Anyway, this thing had a 1 in 3.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Peter. Sorry, Ryan, you're breaking up. I can't hear you that well. Everybody
Hi,
else coming in
Peter.
clearly? Am I
Good
glitching?
evening.
I do.
How are we
I think
doing?
everybody's clear except for Ryan.
Okay. Sorry, Ryan. He's frozen
Ryan,
like this with the dog in his hand.
Ryan, he's funny.
Do you have a radio on or something in the background, Peter? Because we can hear that real well.
Okay, I guess it's off now. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I just didn't know if you realized that it came across on the broadcast. It's good to have you here tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to let you gentlemen talk while I get a few things done because I've been tied up on the computer all day, and I'm going to listen.
Just made a face he made under. He was funny. Right.
Logan,
Ryan.
what are you looking at?
No, the picture Ryan had up there, he little folds. Funny. Sorry.
Logan's got such an interesting sense of humor. You gotta just love that guy.
I liked your question, though. Was that satisfactory?
Yeah, thank you.
Where do you stand on the fence?
I don't know. But I heard from this guy, Michael Jones. You ever heard of him? From Inspired Philosophy?
Doesn't seem too familiar.
He's a theistic evolutionist. He believes that the story of Genesis 2 is a sequel to Genesis 1. You know, the one people say they're too different with them?
People like to look at Genesis chapter 2 and say it contradicts or is a different creation story.
Yeah, he thinks that it's a sequel to it because he believes that evolution's how God made Adam and Eve, I guess. What do you think of that? You ever heard of something like that?
I have heard of several different theories. I've heard of the gap theory. I've heard of the kind of like the story of evolution is kind of just like spread out like that. I've heard of God creating everything twice. There's a lot out there on that. By the way, something that I just realized. People like to say God of the gaps. Well, a gap theory would be evolution of the gaps.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
I didn't think about that till now. People like to say God of the gaps. If you believe in the gap theory, it'd be an evolution of the gaps. Anyway. But yeah, going back to you, don't want to interrupt. You said he's a theistic evolutionist.
Yeah.
So he believes in a God. Does he believe in the God of the Bible and he just used evolution?
Yeah. He believes in Jesus and stuff. But he believes that evolution's how God made Adam and Eve. It's weird.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think, one, the Bible clearly states, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And then he states that this all took one day. And then he states day 2, day 3, day 4. The Bible is very clear in this manner. It says evening and the morning. It doesn't just say a day. It says evening and morning. So it's very specific. We're talking about a 24-hour period here. To believe anything other than the Bible, you'd be calling the Bible a liar. You'd be calling the Bible wrong. If I read Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, and it says, God said, let there be, heaven and earth, and he creates heaven and earth. And then I say, well, I don't believe it happened like that. Then I'd be saying, the Bible is wrong here. The Bible isn't the correct version. But if I believe that God wrote the Bible, then I'd be believing that either God said it wrong, God deliberately lied, or, somehow the Bible got misinterpreted and destroyed. So, I mean, that's just a messy area to play with. But at least he recognizes that there is a God.
Yeah, he believes, this is what he believes. He says that Genesis was about creation, but God started a, what's it called? A cosmic temple. That's kind of weird. You ever heard of something? Yeah, Adam, Eve were priests and priestess. It's kind of weird. He believes they're little days, but he was just God fixing stuff off. It's weird. You ever heard of something like that?
Um,
I'm sorry. I
what?
kind of need to get caught up a little bit. My internet went out on me for a while, but it's back now.
Okay. Well, so my thing though is, I've heard of like the gap theory, which I imagine is what he's more or less saying is like Genesis is somewhat of a rendering, and then evolution fills in everything that Genesis left out, which would in this case be theoretically a lot. And then it almost looks like humanism, a belief of humanism, where like we are gods on earth. I don't know. Like you said, priests and priestess, and we are his like.
Oh, Adam
What was
Eve,
the word you used? Like galactic temple or
yeah, cosmic temple.
cosmic
and,
temple?
Adam Eve were priests and priestess of it, I guess. It's been a while since I watched it.
Gangster, who are we talking about? I was out of the room
Oh.
for a few minutes because my internet went.
Michael Jones from Inspired Philosophy. He debated Ken Ovo.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, I
just a
haven't
really
really
weird idea.
Yeah, that's what he said before. Weeks ago. It's a crazy. You ever heard of anything like that before?
Not quite the way he said it. I've heard of people believing in humanism, where they say that we're going to be gods or something. Not quite priests or priestesses. I know that we are, temples of Christ. So, like, I guess I can see him kind of come to that conclusion from the Bible is that God has a temple within us, and he dwells within us. I don't know about Adam and Eve, if it was that way with them. I know it wasn't that way for quite some time, that, it was only when Jesus died on the cross that he really started having a temple within us instead of having a physical, tangible temple. So it's just a very interesting idea. I've not heard too much of that. But then, I mean, am I wrong to say he believes in a gap theory kind of belief?
It sounds like one. You say that Genesis is not about the complete beginning, but set up a cosmic temple type thing. Yeah, sounds like a bit of a gap theory.
Okay. No, I haven't heard anything quite like what you're saying.
Yeah, he debated Ken Hovo once over it.
Interesting.
I have to try and watch that sometime, Gangster.
Yeah.
I would say there's also.
for
I'd say there's also another category because you have like the believers, right? The believers in something, to make it broad. You have the believers in a God of some kind. Then you have the believers in no God, right? And then you have the mismatch where, you have the believers who believe in God, who believe in evolution, and the people who just, and this is the category I get annoyed at the most of any category, which is the people who simply say, I don't know, I'm agnostic, and I don't want to find out. Those are the people who drive me insane. I shouldn't say just don't want to find out, because there are a lot of those, but there's also the people who say they're looking, but they're clearly not. I have a friend like that who annoys the life out of me because he says he's looking, and he acts like he's adamantly searching, and I believed him for quite some time that he was adamantly searching, because how do you know if he is or isn't? But after a year of being his friend, I realized no answer is sufficient. He will always come up with an infinite amount of questions to ask you, and this is just his lifestyle. And that's when I started getting a little bothered by it, is he was what you would just call an agnostic. No matter how much information you give him, he's never going to fully know anything, and he's never going to be satisfied.
If I may interject, Jeremiah, there are people who just, I think I mentioned this before, it's like they live a dog's life. They just live for the here and now. Whatever can make me happy today. I'm going to do what feels good for today, and then I'll go back tomorrow and do what feels good. And, I'll work. Basically, they want to keep everything here on the horizontal plane. They don't want to consider, it's sort of like what I don't know won't hurt me. So if I say, well, I don't know if there's a God or not, or maybe I don't believe in him. And then when I get to the judgment, let's say I'm wrong and there is a God, I'll just say, well, I didn't know. And maybe he'll
Yeah.
give me a pass because, well, I didn't know. That's a lot of people who have that attitude. You know, it's
In
like
my opinion,
I have
it
an
is.
uncle that passed away.
In my opinion, it is way easier to get someone saved and to get someone who believe in God, who absolutely refuses and has their own belief, than it is to get one of these. I'm not going to pick people to believe. When you have someone who's not going to pick, has their own belief, they're just in the middle. There's no one. There's no idea to get them down on. I would say it like this. Imagine you're dealing with some some creature and you're trying to get them to sit down in a certain spot, right? You're trying to get this person to sit down in a certain spot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If they believe in the exact opposite, let's say they're standing over in the corner. They're tangible, they're solid, you can grab their hand, bring them over, set them down, right? But if they don't believe in anything, it's like they're constantly running around the room, and every time you try to grab a hold of something, they slip right out. And so I think that's why the devil likes to put people in this state of agnosticism. It's okay to admit that you don't know something. It's okay to say, well, I'm not exactly sure what I believe. But the thing is, figure it out. Pick this day who you will serve. You don't have forever. And so I think the devil likes to keep people in this state of, well, I don't know, and I'm never going to truly know, and I'll just observe. And then it runs into this problem of one day they're going to die, and they're going to say, well, I didn't know. And he's like, but you had all these opportunities to figure it out. And anytime that someone like me tries to help them out, they just slip out of that. It's like, well, what do you believe? Because if you can find out what their beliefs are, you can prove them wrong in that area and get them to question that and move forward and make new beliefs. If they don't believe anything, then there's nothing to question.
Well, it's
there's no starting point to take them from.
There are people who really do live their life by what I don't know won't hurt me. I don't know if I should get this personal, but my brother's ex-wife passed away because she didn't like going to the doctor. She didn't. Oh, sorry, Dustin, I don't see you here. Where are you? Dustin, where are you?
Want me to
I
put
don't
the link in there?
I'm sorry, what?
Dustin says, hey, let me in, but I don't see him knocking on the door. And I don't.
Oh,
I need to post a link. I need to be able to post the link in here. And I don't know if I know how to do that. Hold on.
Want me to do it?
Do you know how to do it? Gangster, can you let Dustin in? Can you put a link in the comments in the chat?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Because I haven't quite yet learned how to do that. Yeah.
Oh, I need you to make me mod.
Okay. How do I do that?
Go by my name, click on the dots, and go to mod, I think.
I see the 3 dots by your name. It says remove from stage, solo layout, mute, edit mic settings.
Nothing there say about mod.
I didn't see anything that said mod. Is it solo layout?
I'm not sure. Oh, I could text him on phone to
Yeah. If you've got his number, do it that way.
Yeah.
If you've got his number, text him the link on your phone. Yeah, sorry, we're still learning how to do this, and our daddy, Proverbs guy, is not with us tonight, so we're kind of blind leading the blind just a little bit. Well, I do have privileges.
Oh, joy.
Dustin, I can if I see you backstage, I can bring you into the room because I have full privileges. I just don't necessarily know how to use everything yet. We'll figure it out, Dustin. Gangster is going to text you.
Did you get the message yet?
Oh, mod privileges. Okay, I guess I don't have those. I can't make somebody a mod, maybe. We'll get it worked out. But anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt what you were talking about. Yeah, it
Ryan,
just
you're
there's some
breaking up really
people.
bad.
Am I?
I can't
For some
understand
reason,
you at all.
you can't understand me at all. Can you hear me now? I don't know. For some reason, the internet's been acting up tonight.
Ryan, you're gone. Can't understand you at
Ryan,
all.
Ryan, you're coming across clear to me.
Oh,
I hear you fine.
how about Gangster? Can you hear me all right, Peter?
Yeah.
Maybe it's your end, Jeremiah, because I can hear you fine. I can see and hear Jeremiah just fine.
I can hear you very well. Yeah.
Okay, so Faithful says I'm okay. So Jeremiah's going to leave and come back. Maybe the problem is on his end.
Okay. Okay.
Hi,
Hey, Dustin.
Dustin's here. Hi.
Welcome. Dustin. I think our host is having some internet issues, and he's probably going to come back in the room here in just a minute.
Yeah, I was wondering where Buckingham took off to.
Stump. Yes, thank you, Stump. We need your help, Stump.
Where is Stump?
Stump's in the chat, so we can get him in here.
Awesome. I love Stump.
Yeah, I would
Thanks,
like
sir.
Stump to come in. He's quite a interesting person to talk to.
Yeah, Peter is. Yeah.
So I went to court today.
Oh,
How'd that go?
They offered me a settlement.
$1 million?
No,
Oh.
I'm not to that courtroom yet.
$1.
If I settle, I forfeit that ability. If I settle, they I lose the ability to turn this into a state lawsuit. Like this is the primary lawsuit where I prove that the state operatives committed the crime, right? Or committed the civil infraction. And once I have a conviction on those principles based on the evidence, then I can turn around and apply for a nexus letter and then go after the state, assuming they tie the nexus, which the officers were on duty at the time of the violation to my constitutional right. So I don't see how they couldn't draw a nexus line.
I think the
What if
fact
they
that
give
they
you $1
offered
billion?
Go ahead, Logan.
Oh, sorry. What if they give you $1 billion?
Our host is having some internet issues, and so we're hoping. Let's hope and pray that his internet clears up, or he may have to bow out of the show, which would be sad.
Jeremiah, reset your computer, Jeremiah. Turn it off and turn it back on.
Well, hi, Stump.
That might do that.
There he is.
That might work.
That's the guy.
By the way, Dustin, the fact that they
Jeremiah, can you
offered
see and hear? All right.
Hold on, Ryan. Faithful's trying to talk to me.
Okay.
What was that, Faithful?
The fact that they offered you a settlement is encouraging because they would not have offered the settlement if they were challenging it in any way, shape, or form, if they had any basis for it. Now, I'm not an attorney.
They're not
That's
challenging.
my opinion.
They're not challenging, but they are objecting. They have nothing that they can challenge, and there's nothing that they can turn around and file against me. So I'm sitting there.
Sure, they have to file an objection, but the fact they're offering you a settlement is stating that we have to offer an objection, but this is not going to go down. Now, that's just my viewpoint on it from what I've seen in court cases and different people through the years. So let's keep hoping it goes through for you. I hope so, because I think you'll do something constructive with your settlement.
Well, I have to structure a motion over the weekend, and then I'll try and file for another court date for Friday.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to mute my mic and let you guys talk. All right. It's nice to meet you.
Much love.
Talk to you, Dustin. If you ever need to, you know how to get a hold of me.
Yep.
Jeremiah just re-entered the room, so let's see if things are better for him now. If his connection is better. We'll give
Jeremiah Buckingham.
Is your you finally got your situation?
I'm coming in. Am I good?
All right.
I can
We're
hear
good
you
now?
fine.
I completely
I can hear him.
seized out of it. I'm sorry.
Are we good now, Jeremiah?
Oh yeah, everything's falling apart.
Well, you know, the enemy doesn't like what we're doing, does he?
Oh, I doubt it.
No,
Anyway,
no, he doesn't like the truth. That's for sure.
so
So he's
to those who are new, this is more or less just an open mic platform, but I want to keep the topic somewhere on the idea of God, maybe evolution, just like any question we had, everything we're working through, thoughts, statements, really just in that category. But yeah, really anything floats tonight.
So it's interesting that you see a relation between the theory of evolution and the progression of technology. Isn't that kind of interesting?
yeah.
Theoretically, the power of transistors doubles almost every year.
Mm-hmm.
Transformers?
Something like
Well,
that.
Transistors, the transistor power,
But how
the
does that
computing
connect to
power.
evolution?
are you comparing that to
Well, because
biological?
yeah, well, the theory, not necessarily the practice, but the theory. I mean, you take a look at it. You see a progression, a steady progression of computers from this model to that model to that model, and every time you required a step from the previous model and a computer that was slightly faster than that to make the next model, right? So it's just interesting that there's a correlation between the theory of evolution and the actual progress of computers.
But there's a huge difference. Technology is evolving because human minds are causing it to evolve. These people that believe in biological evolution, they think it's a mindless process. There's nothing behind it, no intelligence whatsoever behind it. So that's the huge difference. But yeah, technology is evolving because human minds are causing it to do so.
Jeremiah, I have a question. Here's some people say, I think I heard Pike say this, but idea of having all the animals we have today and them getting off the ark is not enough time. What would you say to them?
That there's not enough time from
Man,
now for all the animals to populate to where they are now.
Yeah, from the ark.
Well, the flood happened, what, 4,000 years ago?
4,500.
Yeah, something around there. You ever seen animals breed? I mean, they're crazy. Animals will flip the population like there's no tomorrow, almost instantly. If you get animals to travel about the speed that an animal travels, right, around the Earth, you could travel the entire Earth within, I don't know, a few years. I mean, depending on the creature. So you get that, you start with that, and then you go to the idea of how fast do these animals breed. They breed pretty fast. Then, I mean, it's like, look at humans, because humans are probably way slower than rabbits to breed. Okay, we're not the slowest breeding creatures on the planet, but I mean, we seem to do pretty well over the last few thousand years, if you look at the graphs and everything. So, I mean, I don't see where there's not enough time. I guess that'd just be my basic point, is you make the accusation there's not enough time, I'd be like, how much time do you think we need?
Yeah, Chris, I heard before this one guy said that he thinks there's not enough time for 8 people to 8 billion.
They dropped off 2 pygmy goats.
Yeah.
They dropped off 2 pygmy goats on an island, and I think, what was it, in like 6 months they populated to 300.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, you get humans in a bunch of land. You say fill the earth, and that's what we do. We are really good at it.
That is true. That is true.
Wow,
Keep in mind that only in recent years have humans had families with 1 or 2 or 3 kids or whatever. But many years ago, families, a woman would have 10 kids or more.
So you got to remember, if you're starting with 8 people, right? 3 sets of 2, and each one of those are like the Duggar family, right? Each one of those have 20 kids. Within about 20 years of landing down, you're talking about 60 people.
Yeah.
And that's if they're not having twins, and if they're not doing X, Y, Z. Like that's just if each one becomes like the Duggar family. Now, those people, I mean, your oldest would be 20, so they've probably already been married for a few years. Okay.
Yeah.
Who says the first one stopped? We like to think, oh well, 20 kids, that's a lot to have for us, sure, but you're talking about genetically close to perfect here, not us. You're talking about people who came from pre-flood conditions. Who knows what their bodies were able to do back then?
Yeah.
You're talking about people who are blessed by the hand of God to have kids.
You're talking about royal families that came from a time before, right? Like they had a whole different way of raising their children back then, even.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, when you're dealing with a royal family, they could care less about how much they copulate.
Also, remember that lifespans were still much longer immediately
For a
after
little
the
while,
flood.
yeah.
They were still for a period of time. I don't know how long, but people were still living hundreds of years for a while. And so that's a lot of time to have kids.
Now, I will say this, though, because they like to say, the world's overpopulated, and they like to say, oh, well, we're outgrowing the earth. No, we're not. Elon Musk has been quoted saying that we're not overpopulating. He's the richest person. He has all the resources to him. I'm sure he's looked into it. He does those things. And he said, we're not overpopulated. We're just undermanaged.
Yeah.
We have enough farmlands to make food. We just don't serve it well. We already make enough food. We just don't serve it well. We have enough, of the different necessities. We just don't deliver them well, which is why he does what he does.
Right.
I think the problem is most people live in like cities and stuff, and cities are overpopulated. But if you don't like it, move. I'm sure Kansas would like some new inhabitants. They're pretty lonely out there. How's that Wyoming? There's nobody out there.
I was getting ready to say Wyoming. You'd be hard pressed to get people in Wyoming to believe that the earth is overpopulated.
Like literally, you drive for like 3 miles and nobody. I had a friend out there. They told me, never let your gas tank go under 50%. If you do, you could be stuck out in the middle of nowhere because gas stations are so far and few between. And then nobody comes out to help you, and you're just in the desert. So we got the land. Sure, we may need to rehabilitate some of it just a little, but we have land. Everybody could easily fit in Florida if we wanted to, overpopulate a certain area.
Yeah. Well, here's an example. Canada has a land area larger than the United States. Okay. But yet there's only about 35 million, maybe. The population of Canada is comparable to the population of California. And California is a big state, but compared to all of Canada, it's not that big. Now, here's another thing. Okay. So I'm guessing California, 35 million, something like that. California is about the size of Japan. But Japan has got, I'd have to look, 100 and some million. And so you see how you can get to smaller and smaller places, and you can fit more and more people in these places. And even Japan has some massive cities, but also Japan still has countryside. It still has areas where not many people live.
Now, I will say this, like Japan, if you want to bury your body in the ground, you do actually have to pretty much do a lottery. And Japan, in my opinion, might be overpopulated. But the rest of the thing is, the rest of the world's not like that. The rest of the world's not like Japan. It's just that people don't like spreading out. The Bible says spread out. Okay? Several times it says spread out. And people are like, no, we like to stick in one place. Right after Noah and the ark situation happened, they started the Tower of Babel, where everybody was in one place. And God's like, okay, now hold up. This is not happening. This is not working. Okay, I'm going to need to spread you guys out some. And so, it's just kind of this, we just don't like to spread out as a society.
Yeah. Well, community, people need people, basically. And
we all like to stay around the ones we know.
Alaska is a good example of a place where people go if they want to get away from it all. If they want to get away from other people, they'll go to Alaska and build a cabin in the woods. There are people that do that. Alaska is probably the number one place that people move to if they just want to get away. And so they go there. But anyway, I'm sorry, somebody's. I need to unhighlight that.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Earlier, that face you made when you froze was funny.
Hey, gangster, what?
When you're frozen, it kind of funny. When you're frozen up there.
I think it's funny when you sit there frozen.
Oh.
Like, well, technically.
Oh, see, I can't see myself frozen. Only you all can. And so, to me, I look fine. When I go back and watch this later, I'll say, "Oh man, I keep freezing." I mean, am I pretty glitchy right now to you guys?
No.
No. I mean, I could turn off my camera. That might help with the audio. Like right now, Jeremiah is frozen, but I think he's doing that on purpose, aren't you?
Wow, you did that awesome. Did that perfect.
By the way, I'm eating some skinny dipped almonds, which are basically they're chocolate coated, but a very thin coating of chocolate. So you can still taste the chocolate, but it's not like thick chocolate. It's just a little thin coating. So if you want to get this particular brand, and by the way, Jeremiah, I was telling my coworker about Tillamook and about how your wife got me to start eating Tillamook. And so on the way home, I bought a carton of Tillamook that I'm going to bring him in the morning. I'll say, "Here, try you some Tillamook."
Oh, Jeremiah, I have a niece your age.
I'm sorry, what?
I have a niece that was born the same year as you.
I was born in 2003.
Yeah, my niece was born that year. Wow, it's crazy.
My car was made in 2003.
You're as old as your car.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it started to make me feel old, talking about 9/11 the other night, Tuesday night. And I'm starting to realize that I'm starting to accumulate all these Gen Z friends who weren't even alive during when 9/11 happened. They weren't even alive. And it kind of I don't know if it makes me feel older or
They're like, all I know of the 9/11 events, what I've seen. And I've watched a lot, and I've seen all the theories and all the whatnot.
Yeah.
But again, all I know about it is what I've heard about on the documentaries.
So you did watch that episode? You did watch that the other night, my Tuesday night episode?
I did watch your show on it.
Okay.
I'm glad I wasn't there. I got to be honest. I'm glad I wasn't there. I have nothing to add. I would just be sitting there smiling and like, hi.
Yeah, I know, because that's the reason why when you told me you had to sleep, I said, well, we're going to talk about 9/11, and you weren't even on the planet when that happened. So, but yeah, I spent the whole day in a state of shock, basically. But I don't need to go and rehash if you want to go back to but I just, it was a little bit frustrating. It was frustrating that I had to be working when I would rather. He disappeared on us. No, you back? You okay? Internet okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
It frustrated me that I had to work when I would much rather have just had my eyes glued to the television. But I did, when I went home, I did finally turn on the TV and
nowadays,
I saw.
If the whole world wants to watch something, you can just open it up in like something like this, and
yeah, well,
which is interesting when the Bible says the whole world's gonna see the Antichrist and like the whole world will be watching. We always wondered how that's gonna happen, and oh wait, now all of us have cameras and screens.
I think I mentioned this to you before, but one of my favorite sci-fi films, 2001: A Space Odyssey. It features an object that looks like this. This is actually like a little toy of the monolith. And I find it so prophetic almost that what does the monolith kind of look like? Well, it kind of looks like a smartphone. It kind of looks like it's kind of shaped like a smartphone. And this is a movie that was made. This is a movie as old as I am, where it looks like almost like it was prophesying that this thing would appear on Earth and then appear on the moon and then appear around Jupiter. That they don't explain what the thing is, other than it just has a peculiar effect on human development. And to think that, I mean, they say that smartphones have totally revolutionized the way people live their lives. And so I think if Stanley Kubrick were alive today, he'd say, yeah, that's what the monolith was. It was a smartphone.
I think about how my son's development is going, and
yes,
I try to not be on my phone excessively around him, simply just because his development is so crucial. And if all he sees is this glass box in front of my face, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what I'm doing. If I'm working, because I have things I have to do for work, which I don't think I did today, so I'm gonna have to do that real quick. But I have things I have to do for work on my phone. Then there's videos I like to edit, and I do a lot of that on my phone. And so like there's a lot of good and just wasting time I do on my phone. And I can make it a point to leave the room when I'm doing this. I'll let him see me on my phone, but like whenever I have to like sit down and do a lot, I try to just not do it around him.
Mm-hmm.
So that when I'm with him, I make this connection with him, and when I'm not making a connection with him, I'm not in the room.
And it's also a good practice. If you are over at someone's house and they're having like a get together or they're having you over to visit, try to be on the phone as little as possible. You're there to see them. You're not there to sit and look at your phone. And so that's my best friend is really picky about that. He'll tell people, hey, put your phone away. Why did you come over here just to look at your phone? And so I try to, when I'm at his house, I try to obey that rule of just, you're here to see them. You're not here to look at your phone.
And one way you know if your time's being valued or not is how often are they on their phone. If they check a text, that's one thing. But if they're just sitting there like, yeah.
Yeah, that's a very rude.
Get new friends.
Just buy a VFL blocker, very low frequency blocker, and your phone will lose frequency.
And turn it on.
Turn it on whenever you have guests. Yeah.
That's a good idea, Dustin.
Dustin, were you born in 2001?
I was born in 87.
Oh. Hey, you're the same age as me.
Yeah, I think y'all are in your mid-30s, both of you. I don't think Stump will tell us what year he was born. I don't mind saying my age, but Stump may not want to tell us.
I think he was born in 1989.
I don't think so. I think he might have been a little bit earlier than that. Well, Father Chuck doesn't mind telling us people how old he is. He'll tell people he's 64. I don't mind saying I'm
40.
I
thought he was 40.
It would be
Father Chuck.
If he was 40, then he was not aging well. I'll say that.
Aging with grace. Yeah. How old is what's his name?
Proverbs?
I almost had it.
Samuel?
No. Manatee.
Brett?
Who?
Brett, yeah. How old is Brett?
Oh, Brett Keane. Now that I don't know. I imagine
40.
I imagine
he aged like milk. That dude ages like milk, bro. That's Haggard. I can't believe he's 40.
You look 40.
Me?
Ryan.
Oh, me? People do often tell me that I look like I'm in my 40s, yes. And I take that as a compliment. As long as this stays brown, I'll probably continue to look like I'm younger than I am. But I don't.
I've already got gray hairs coming in.
Yeah. A lot of people. I mean, different people gray at different rates. It's your genetics and all that, and whether you.
My dad has merged into his 60s, and he still has black hair.
Yeah. Your dad is 60. He's still got dark hair, all right. Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason for that, the only thing I can contribute it to, is the fact that he's a vegetarian. He's not vegetarian
just
by
lost
choice.
somebody.
He's vegetarian by medical needs.
Yeah,
So-
you told me.
But like, you know, he eats eggs and drinks milk, and he's not like a vegan. But he won't eat fish because fish is meat, for all those who don't know. Hate to have to go over that, but they're like, oh, well, does he eat fish? And I'm like, he's a vegetarian.
That means not fish either.
If you eat fish, that's meat, and meat is not vegetarian. Science says so. I don't care what other people think. Anyway.
Scott, would you like to come into the live stream? Because you always make a lot of cool comments in the chat, and it'd be nice if you wanted to come in and talk.
Yeah, it's
to
an
us.
open mic. We're just relaxing.
Mm-hmm. So did y'all hear my?
I don't suspect anybody. I don't suspect anybody's going to be lined up for the firing squad today.
Was I glitching when I was trying to tell the story about the Beanie Baby? Did you hear what I said, or?
The Beanie Baby looked like a dog that you knew.
It looks like
the whole story?
It reminded me of Lucky, the dog that's usually sitting here on the couch. And when I looked at, they always have a little tag. I can go get it, but it's over there.
You said it was like October 1st, which was the same birthday of.
It's John Mark Sowell. And so I'm going to have to give it to John Mark Sowell. And I'm not going to, he's going to say, oh, you gave me a Beanie Baby. I'm not going to tell him why initially. Oh, yeah. I thought you might like
You'll
a Beanie
figure
Baby.
it out.
And then I'll say, look at the tag. Look at the day that this Beanie Baby was born. And that's when he'll say, oh, wow. Yeah. I'm looking forward to being up there. I hope I can hang out with them and you guys, Jeremiah.
When you coming over?
The 30th. And that's when South Carolina plays at Tennessee. That's going to be a good game. I'm not planning on going to the game, but I'd like to go somewhere where the game is being shown, like some restaurant on Market Square or something like that. I'd like us to go watch it somewhere. Because it will be a fun game to watch. They're a pretty big rivalry, South Carolina and Tennessee. So, Scott says he has dementia and has forgotten that we not have George Jetson technology.
That's his dad. He was talking about there.
My dad is 80. Okay, I see it. Yeah, and he'll just keep interrupting, asking me who I'm talking. Okay. Well, without getting too specific, I know of somebody that's living in Washington who also has a dementia problem.
Hey. I have it under check. I have it under check.
Joe Biden.
South Carolina is just a throw. You're in Holden Beach, North Carolina. Now, are you on, Scott? Are you on the? You're on the coast of North Carolina? Because you may be close to where Awake Not Woke lives. I'm not going to get specific because I don't want to get in trouble, but Awake Not Woke might live close to you. I like the fact that me, Proverbs Guy, and Christian Pike all live in Georgia. I only live about maybe an hour and 15 minutes from Christian. And
I miss Proverbs right now.
He had to go. He said he was going out. I think he's going out with his wife, girlfriend, his significant other. He went out for the evening. He called me just before we started and said, "Look, can you do this?" And I said, "If you can get me started, if you can get us started, I'll be able to take over from there."
I need to sometime in our busy schedules get a talking to Steven.
Yeah, you and him need to get together, and maybe he can give you a tutorial.
Well, there are videos I want to post on his channel that would make a whole lot more sense if I can be like, hey, just go here, check it out. Because right now it's on my channel. And I advise you all to talk about it if you want to be constant on my channel, because I seem to reference a few of my videos very often, particularly the one where I go about proving God. It's like a 5-8 minute video somewhere in there. But I reference it a lot. I packed a lot of detail into that video And I'm making the sequel to it right now. So if you don't watch the first one, it's kind of hard to understand why I'm making a sequel. So to those who want to go and check it out, the channel is called Calling All Saints. You'll see me over there, not in a red shirt, surprisingly. I don't think I'm wearing a red shirt.
I'm over there a few times also.
Yeah, Ryan showed up on my channel a few times. Now, I'm not trying to plug my channel per se. There's just a video over there that I can't get over here.
By the way, Jeremiah, Proverbs suggested that you stream your show to your audience. I think there's a button up there somewhere on the upper right that says stream to your audience. I think this would stream it to your channel.
It is
and this by the way, Jeremiah, this is a very plug friendly platform.
Yeah, we want to plug your channel. You know, anything that's about God, we want to promote. We do
Let
want
me
to
see
promote.
if I can find my channel.
Okay.
I want to know if I'm wearing a red shirt in the video or not. I don't think I am in that one. I think I'm wearing a green shirt. Because I went through my green shirt phase, and now I'm in my red shirt phase.
I know you went through these. When you explained to me, see, I used to think that you were like maybe destitute and couldn't afford a big wardrobe until you explained to me why you do that. Why you explained to me about
well, my budget income increased, and so I just bought nicer shirts, and then I bought a bunch of them.
Yeah, once you explained that to me, then I understood. But I was like, man, I need to get this kid some clothes because he only seems to have one or two shirts. And then
I'm wearing a green shirt in that one.
Yeah. But you explained to me about your situation with your sensitivity, and I understood.
So if we want to get into my wardrobe for a second, originally, when I was 18, I had 7 gray polo shirts. I was doing well for myself. I think it's a good investment. So I bought 7 gray polo shirts. I then went homeless for some time. And I lost some of those polo shirts, and I had to accumulate whatever clothes I could. So for a while, I just had to suck it up and face the fact that I couldn't wear, the same shirt every day. I had to wear, different shirts. Still had the luxury of wearing, different clothes every day, but still, it was not my preferred. And it wasn't until I went to Dinosaur Adventureland that there was a donation of 7 green crew neck T-shirts. And I was like, I'm gonna take them all. They're mine.
Yeah, you just took them over. Like I said, I didn't want to say anything, but I'm like, does he only have 1 or 2 shirts? Because that's all I ever see.
From there, when I moved to here, I wore those green shirts for a while as I was getting everything situated, and then I just bought the red ones. Because I figured I do like the polo look. I like something that's a little bit cleaner and just, more business casual. And so I went from raggedy shorts and green crew neck to khaki pants, dress shoes, and a red polo.
Now, is it the color that you're also sensitive to, or is it just the material? Because you can get polo shirts in many different colors.
It's the entire look. I want to wake up in the morning and not think my look changed at all.
Okay.
So it's texture, it's look. I don't want to look down and I see a different color on me. It would just distract me throughout the day. It's just like my brain. I like to be like a cartoon character almost. It's like you think of Jeremiah, red shirt.
Okay, Scott, who is behind that video that you're referencing? Is that one of Jeremiah's videos, or is that somebody else? Can you see the highlighted comment, Jeremiah?
Right.
Well, he says from long ago. That's still on the YouTube. Is that mine? I don't think I made a video like that.
Whose video are you talking about, Scott? You can tell us what channel it is.
Ryan?
Yeah, I don't think I made that.
Yes, gangster.
I have to go. I'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you for being here. We've lost Stump and Dustin. Also, I don't know if they're going to come back. It says, I wear camel shorts every day. It's my superhero uniform instead of the red tights. That's cute. Wait, Scott, you're saying DAL? You've been to DAL? Well, Jeremiah used to live there. I've been there about 6 times. Faithful's been there. So, yeah, we've all been there. Scott.
Oh,
Let's
talk to
see.
you
I can
guys
tell
soon.
you how many. Let's see. I'll tell you how many times I've been to DAL. There was May of 21, my first time. November of 21. That's when I met the Buckinghams. Then there was March of 22, June of 22, December of 22, and I guess I was just there this past June. So I guess I've been there 6 times now. And each time I've been there, it gets better and better and better.
Would you say I've been there more or less than you? Because I was only there once.
Well,
Or
yeah,
a
but
year
you
and a
lived
half.
there. You lived there. I had the longest I was there. I think William and I had stayed there for 2 nights. William and I stayed for 2 nights. Other than that, I've only stayed 1 night whenever I've gone.
But that
So
place is like a paradise.
it is. It really is. And if anyone's watching right now, if anyone's in our studio audience and you've got a family, you've got kids, and you want to take them somewhere fun that's also free, you can't beat free as far as a good value. And you're like, well, yeah, but I don't believe in that young earth creation stuff. Well, so what? You can still go and have a good time. You can tell Ken, well, I don't believe that young earth creation. He'll say, that's all right, brother. That's all right. Just have fun. Maybe you'll learn a little something. Maybe it'll plant a seed, maybe. But you can still have fun even if you don't believe the way Kent Hovind believes.
At least you get a free campground for a day.
Yeah, and it's got a really cool playground for the kids. Basically, if you've got kids, it's a 140-acre playground for them. It's really a fun place, and the food is free too. And the food is good. It's not like bologna sandwich and potato chip. I mean, they cook full meals, and it's
other than the fact that I've had a bologna sandwich there and potato chips. So
says I was shocked. It replies, I'm going to highlight this comment here of Scott's. I was shocked. It replies on my preppers video. People said, yes, I'd shoot my neighbor to protect my beanie weenies. SMH. Yeah, the world is mad. The world is mad. That reminds me of that episode of from Infographics of a meteor's about to hit the earth, and this guy's in his bunker, and his neighbor's trying to break in, and he has a gun. He says, "Look, you need to get away from that door, or I'll have no choice." And he ends up having to shoot him. Anyway, I don't know if y'all are into the infographics videos, but I find a lot of them very interesting, very fascinating. But am I straying too far down a rabbit hole, Jeremiah? If so, feel free to reel me in. And
today is the rabbit hole.
Okay.
I'm probably going to cut it short here in a few minutes just because I have other things to do and we don't have a direct topic. I know one day there's this guy I know named Jose. He has the most brilliant topics ever. I'll probably bring him on one day. I'll have to talk to him about it.
Oh, yeah.
He's the kind of guy who comes up with revolutionary ideas.
Okay. That sounds good.
I do have a video on my channel that he's talked about where I recorded a phone call we had. It's about how to find yourself, and he confronts beautifully all the problems with today's society on how we try to find ourselves. I didn't make it interesting or intriguing or like a bunch of I didn't make it look with a bunch of graphics or anything. I just recorded the phone call and posted it on there. But it's definitely a must-see for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Is this someone who lives near you? He's local, and you can actually bring him there physically?
I bumped into him at Dinosaur Adventureland.
Okay.
So it could definitely be a StreamYard kind of meetup.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know him as of like a right here buddy friend, but it was kind of like you. We bumped into each other at DAL, and we've been hanging out ever since.
Scott, will you please promote your channel? If you make these videos daily, get the gospel out every day and in every way, please feel free to tell us your channel, because I would like to subscribe to it. We're all on the same team here. We're all out to get the gospel spread. So feel free to plug your channel. Let's see. There's a bunch of private chat. Oh, never mind.
Well, I'm going to let you guys go now. You guys can stay here as long as you want, but I'm going to be heading out for the day.
Well, that's fine. I'll probably do the same thing. This was good. But Jeremiah, between now and next week, try to get with Proverbs guy and maybe learn the ropes of how to do all this and how to get your videos on his channel and stuff. So
That way I don't have to have you here as a moderator, I guess. You just don't want to see my show.
No. I still want to be here. I just don't want you to have to depend on me. That's all. I'm still going to be here. You're just being mean to me.
Okay. And hopefully by next week, I'll definitely have some content that we're working on, because I do want to focus on the main question, who is God? I personally have my own beliefs on the matter, but scientifically, can you prove without a shadow of a doubt who God is? Because we worked on finding out what is God. No, not what is God. We found out, is there a God? That was the first question. Is there a God? And the answer was yes, there is a God. But now we got to figure out who he is. Is he the God of Buddha? Is he the God of, the Bible? Who is he? And
Two thumbs up on that topic.
I'm sorry, what?
2 thumbs up on that topic.
Yeah, and so I've just been working on that topic, and I got some great input from you guys last week, and I just haven't developed it yet.
Hey, Dustin Buck wants in.
Okay. Sorry about that. Sometimes I don't catch y'all when you're knocking on the door. Sometimes I don't hear you knocking.
There you go, Dustin.
I want to file a complaint. So
my complaint office is in California, and they don't have phone services, so you're gonna have to go and walk there. And they're only open
Jeremiah,
on the 366th day of the year. So good luck.
Only on leap year.
Jeremiah, your question's very, very interesting. But the interesting thing is that we have cases in history with isolated groups of people that have arrived at this conclusion, right?
I'm sure I'm not the first one. I'm just trying to make it easily accessible. I'm trying to do it for myself as well.
What conclusion you mean, Dustin?
That Jesus Christ, look, how do I put this? There's been different versions of the All-Father, okay? Between isolated pockets of humanity, right? So this question, not necessarily that you aren't the first person to ask it, it's just that there's a lot more solid research on the topic, and I'm not sure. Like I've been doing some side research, and it turns out that there's some tribes that know about Christianity, and they've been isolated for hundreds of years.
Yeah, there is a book that I read once called Eternity in Their Hearts. Some of these isolated people groups have actually been where, like, say, the chief of the tribe would see a vision. There have been times when missionaries have gone into a place and they found out into this isolated tribe or people group knew that one day a white man would come to them and tell them the truth. This has happened on many occasions where they have this legend. One day a man will come and reveal the truth to us. Let's just, one day this will happen. Yeah, that's actually quite common.
And God's going to make himself known to every man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
so, yeah, it's
okay. You got to go.
Thank you, Dustin, for you guys can stay on the show if you want, but I have other things I got to attend to. So adios.
Thanks, Jeremiah.
Adios.
All right. Well, if y'all want to hang around, we can a little bit, or we can just go ahead and call it an early night.
That's kind of up to y'all. I've still got this 7-hour project I have to work on today.
Mm.
There is a subject I'd like to broach.
Go ahead.
You remember how I told you that the stomach is the chakra where we find influence?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, it's interesting because I was doing research online yesterday, and it brought something up in my memory. There's a particular reason for that. Why the chakra in the stomach is the point of entry is because in women that's the stepping off point between life and death, right? Well, death to life, more rather.
Okay. The womb.
So
Talking about the baby.
there's a yeah, absolutely. So there's a spiritual connection, A, in the womb, and B, between the mother and the child via the umbilical cord. You receive information from the umbilical cord. You send information via the umbilical cord. So it's I had forgotten that I had read about that, but that's basically the portion of the body that allows entry for possession.
Possession of what?
Of a person.
Okay.
And so,
right?
It has with what a
so
person
okay,
eats.
for example, let me put it this way. I'll make this extremely simple. A woman has to invite someone in between her legs, spiritually speaking, right? In order for someone else to leave, right? So there's a spiritual communication there, and it's in connection with like the stomach and the spiritual realm and that stepping off point.
When you say stomach, could I just ask you a question? When you
Sure.
say stomach, are you referring to the stomach like the digestive tract or the stomach like the abdomen?
The abdomen, the
Okay.
center of the body,
Because,
where the
all right,
where the
because when
energy is usually.
people in my generation, when you say stomach, you're talking about where your food goes to digest. Otherwise, we know it as the abdomen. So that's why I asked.
There's an interesting connection there too, because Jesus said, "Eat of my flesh and drink of my blood." Right? Okay, so that the Holy Spirit can dwell in you.
Let's don't take that out of context. So I think Ryan wants to go. That would be good to have on a discussion for another time. But he didn't say that. He was saying that when he had the Last Supper, and he said, if you don't do this, you don't have a part of me. So and I know what you're referencing, but I didn't want you to take it out where he said, "Eat of my flesh and commanding you," because he didn't say.
I wasn't directly quoting him. No.
Okay. Well, I didn't. Well, there are other people. There are other people listening that or might be listening
Absolutely.
or something. That's why I wanted to clarify it,
Yeah.
because there's so many things that people just say. You make a statement and you understand what you're saying, and other people that might be listening may not comprehend, just like the difference between the stomach and the belly. And that's why maybe I might seem kind of technical, but after having traveled around and people I talk to, it's kind of make it kind of clear enough for simple people. So that I appreciate that, Dustin. Thank you.
That's a good point, Faithful. But yeah, I still haven't had my shower yet because I got home a bit later than I thought I was, and so Stephen's messaging me, "Are you going to help Jeremiah?" And then I called Jeremiah. "What are you going to talk about?" "I don't know yet." And I said, "Well, the Holy Spirit can just guide the conversation. As long as we're talking about theological things, godly things. I think, when you've got several people in the room, different people, they'll have different things to contribute to the conversation.
Right.
So it usually turns out well, if you got everybody, everyone on the same page, everybody loves Jesus. And then if maybe you've got somebody who doesn't, you can minister to that person and plant a seed. But
I appreciate you helping out tonight and sending me the invite, because
yes.
I always like to help support young men when they get started, and there wasn't a lot here, and I didn't contribute much, but I did have other things I had to do.
Oh yeah. No, you're fine.
Peter Abraham's probably the quietest person I've ever met.
Are you even there, Peter? Peter, are you there? No, it's been fascinating meeting him, because we met on Facebook, and I don't even know how he found me. He sent me a request one day and I accepted. And not until he started coming here did I even know he was in Nigeria. That was just completely news to me. I thought he was somewhere here in the States, but found out he was in Nigeria. And I thought, oh, No, that's cool.
He sings really well. Jeremiah,
Mhm.
I mean, I'm sorry. I've got my brain going. Peter, are you still there?
Yeah, he's not responding. He might be away from the.
Yeah, and he may have fallen asleep because Nigeria is on a totally different
Yeah,
time zone than
I
we
think
are.
he's in the middle. I think it's during the nighttime hours
Yeah,
there
because
right now.
Greece is
Or early night.
Greece is 8 hours ahead of me, 7 hours ahead of you.
Hmm. All right, we'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and call it a night. You want me to end this in prayer, faithful?
I'm not.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not the one in charge, so yeah, absolutely, we should always end things that way.
Well, the one in charge is not even here. Elvis has left the building, but so I guess I'll be the new Elvis.
Well, you're actually the one that's got the buttons.
Yeah, I do have the buttons here. Okay. All right, if y'all would
Well,
bow
thank you
with
very
me.
much.
Thank you.
Dear Lord, thank you for letting us have this opportunity tonight just to gather together as fellow believers, just to talk about you and the things of you, the things of your spirit, talking about just anything to do with you, Lord. It's something that I enjoy doing, especially when I'm with other believers who also love you. I just want to thank you for letting Jeremiah come on and do the show and giving him a new platform. And thank you for inspiring Proverbs guy to do this for us, with us, and for us. And we just want to continue that. Hope you'll bring new people to this channel, new people that either know you or don't know you. And the ones that don't know you, I hope we can plant seeds in their hearts. And so that one day they will come to be your church, be your children, Lord. And I just praise your holy name. You alone are worthy to be praised. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you
All
much.
right.
And Dustin,
Do
I'll
you want
talk
me
to
to
you
call
later
you
if
right
get-
away, Faithful?
Well, when it's convenient for you, I'll be up for a while. So when it's convenient.
All right, I'll probably call you right after. I gotta drive to a grocery store and then yeah.
Okay, it won't take long. Thank you all so much. And
Yeah.
gee,
Thank
there's
you.
two Peters in here now.
Yeah,
Okay.
Peter, we were just leaving, but keep coming. Keep trying to check in, Peter.
Good night.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, Scott. We're ending the stream now. But good night. God bless, and see you again soon. Come back next time, Scott.